Say war.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. This episode is going to be another UFC review. This time we're reviewing Fight Night Copenhagen. Now this is a little different because of the time difference. It's going to be airing Saturday morning. So this fight you got to get up early to watch, but it'll be worth it. There's going to be some big underdogs on there that I think stand a really good chance. We're going to review all the fights from prelims to the main card. Now obviously on the prelims I'm not going to have as much information. Fight nights are already low key. Prelims for another country, we're not going to be looking at superstars here. So we're going to be looking at underdogs, basic records, and abilities. That being said, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Northern Tiki Metal Signs, What's Your Sign Made Of? And Tata's Hot Sauce. Tata's, for that sweet heat. Taking a look at UFC Copenhagen, we're going to start early in the morning, and we're going to start early on the prelims with Jack Shore versus Nolan Henarada. Now, I'm going to say right up front, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names coming up, so my apologies to the fighters and the fans in advance. However, the pick should be solid. So in this one, I'm going to go with Jack. He's coming from the UK. He's 11-0. He's up against Nolan, who's 10-3 from the US. That being said, I like the undefeated fighters. The UFC likes these undefeated fighters, and the fans like undefeated fighters. So whenever you have an undefeated fighter against a guy who's got a decent record, you can generally favor that undefeated fighter, especially on a night like this. They're going to try and want to bring in more fans. Everyone's going to be hungry. They're going to want to fight well here so they can get on a pay-per-view. I'm going to give it to Jack Shore. The next fight, we have Mark Diaz versus Lando Venata. Now, Lando Venata is a name a lot of people have heard of. He's been in a lot of very good fights. Unfortunately, his record doesn't really reflect that. He's 10-3-2. Now, that being said, Mark is coming in at 13-3. Again, not the greatest record, but I think that the fact that there's no contest and that he's coming in with a few more wins, the guy is hungry and he's fighting out of the Congo. I mean, guys from that area are going to be coming out more fiercely. We see it in other fighters. They just have this natural killer instinct once it gets to that point, and you can see that in his previous fights. I'm going to take Mark here in this one. The next fight that's coming up is a women's fight. We have Macy Chiesa against Lena Landsberg. Now, Macy is coming in heavy favorite. She's got the skill. She's got the power. She's one of the very few female fighters in that division that I think really has the chops or the capability to develop them. A lot of times you watch these fighters and there's very few standouts. This division is being still built in my eyes, but there's still a few good fighters here and there that show that killer instinct. I think she's one of them. I think everyone sees that, and that's why she's a heavy favorite. Go with Macy Chiesa on that one. Bon chance. Next one is going to be Brandon Davis versus Chikadze. Now, again, I'm probably butchering that one, but we have a record of 10-5 against 5-1. You're looking at a guy who's not winning a lot of fights versus a guy who's an up-and-comer. Everyone loses one fight, not a huge deal. But when you're 5-1, that's a much better record than 10-5. It also shows less traffic on the body, less damage over time. I'm actually going to give it to the underdog here at Chikadze. I think he pays out around the 2.3 mark right now, and he's a good pick. He's very solid. The next fight on the card is, I'm kind of going against what I just said in CR Barraza against Ismael Narodiev. Now, the record of CR is 24-7, but he is just a beast. The guy is made of rock. He's tough. He's durable. If he hits you, you're going to feel it. He's well-rounded. He's very experienced. He's just very talented. He's going up against Ismael, who's 18-3. Now, that's a very similar record in my eyes. For the amount of time that CR's been around, I don't think that the 4 other losses really outweigh the majority of the 6 more wins. He's faced a lot of competition in a lot of divisions, and I think we're going to see CR in this one sneak out possibly a decision, possibly a knockout. I think that's going to be the prelim fight to watch, actually. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be exciting. The next fight is Alessio Di Chicaro versus Mahmoud Muradov. Now, Alessio is from Italy. I'm Italian. So he's got my heart pick right now. I hope that we can show a little pride and win that one. But Mahmoud is actually very good. He's a solid fighter, durable guy. So that's going to be a tough fight for Alessio to win. But I don't see where he necessarily has too many flaws. His record's good. He's got, I believe, an inch in reach. So let's go with Alessio on that one. But again, this is an undercard fight. There isn't too much information on these guys. So that's really mostly a heart pick there. Go Italy. That brings us to our last fight of the prelims. We have Alan Amadoshi versus John Phillips. Now, again, I don't know too much about these guys here, so I'm going to go with Alan on this one just because the odds favor him nicely. So he's an underdog at 2.3. And to be honest, I saw these guys. I don't see any major difference in physique or training or skill sets. I think it's going to be a closer fight than people think. And because of that, I'm going to just go against the odds makers and try and cash in on a lopsided amount. That being said, those are my picks for the prelims. This brings us to the main card. Now, the main card here actually gets pretty exciting. We have a few big names that aren't necessarily title shots or title contenders, but are always exciting to watch. That being said, we have our first fight on the main card, Nicholas Darby and Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Now, I'm super excited for this fight. I like Alex Oliveira. I think he can kick really well. I think he can punch really well. His submission game is all over the place. He is just super well-rounded. Even well-rounded makes it seem like, makes it sound like he's not good at everything. But he's actually great at everything. So it's almost like he's great rounded. So I definitely see him taking the win over Nicholas Darby. I think that he could win definitively, not by decision. He's not going to let it go that far. He doesn't need to. He's got the skill set to put it away. So I'm going to take Alex Oliveira, and I'm going to double down and say he wins definitively. The next fight is, again, apologies for the name, Michael Olkazejuzuk versus Ovince StPreux. Now, Ovince StPreux has not been on a winning streak recently. His record is 23-12, which is not a great record. Michael's is 13-2, so that's a much better record. However, Ovince StPreux is a veteran. I feel like if he can get a takedown, he could win that fight. That being said, Michael Olkazejuzuk is probably still the safer bet to take. I think StPreux is going to put up a great fight, and there's definitely a lot of avenues that he can win from. But, I mean, he's got a guy who's hungry, who's finally made a main card, who's got a good record, who's going to be coming out fighting. I take Michael Olkazejuzuk to win this fight. The next fight on this card is Ion Cutelaba versus Khalil Roundtree. Now, I've been watching Khalil Roundtree since he was coming up through Ultimate Fighter. That guy is strong. He's got power in his hands, and he's got the right mindset to go in there and get some points and to slug a bit. The problem is I don't feel he has the right mindset as far as a killer instinct. When he goes in there, he's far too calculating. Everything he's doing, he's kind of, let's throw a punch, stay a little safe, which is great to win a fight, but against a guy like Ion Cutelaba, it's not going to be enough. This guy's strong. He's going to be coming out fast. I think that he's going to be the upset over Khalil. Khalil, again, big, strong guy. I'm impressed with his work ethic, but that killer instinct I give to Ion Cutelaba, and I think that he's going to come out and show us that he's a name that people need to start recognizing. The next fight is actually my big fight, and if you watch my Road to a Million, you'll see this is my underdog pick. It is Gunnar Nelson versus Gilbert Burns. Now, this fight is going to be finished. It's not going to go the distance, that's for sure. Gunnar Nelson is an amazing submission artist. If he manages to take Gilbert Burns to the ground, Gilbert's not going to have a lot of options but to tap. That being said, Gilbert Burns comes in. He's got a little bit better striking. Hopefully, he'll come in a little aggressive, which kind of plays into takedowns for Gunnar. That being said, Gunnar Nelson's style is submission wrestling. So he gets down there, he taps you out, he uses Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These things take time to get into position. You have to get leverage. Then you have to turn corners, cut off blood circulation. It's not as quick as a quick punch to the jaw. As such, you would expect those types of fighters to have longer fights. Not the case here. When we take Gunnar Nelson versus Gilbert Burns, both of them have roughly the same amount of fights. And if you look at their average fight time, Gunnar Nelson's fight time is significantly less. So the fighter who has the longer style is finishing faster. That's a testament to his abilities and his strengths, and that's something that Gilbert Burns is going to have to overcome, and I just don't see him overcoming that. So that's my underdog of the week on my road to $1 million, Gunnar Nelson over Gilbert Burns. That leaves us with only 2 more fights on the card. We have Mark Madsen against Danilo Bellardo. Now, Danilo is, again, Italian, so I want him to win. Unfortunately, I just don't see a way for him to do that. Mark Madsen's another undefeated fighter coming in 8-0, and he's making his debut as the co-main event to this. That's hype right there. If you go on their website and you see debut and you see co-main event, that guy is making it. We know it's not Danilo Bellardo that's pushing this. That undefeated debut is going to be a guy to watch. So Mark Madsen to win this in his debut, and again, because he's debuting, he's an underdog. I think the odds makers are overlooking the obvious, and that's going to be another easy underdog pick. Leaving us with the main event of the night, we have Jack Hermansson against Gerard Cannonier. Now, Jack Hermansson is an amazing fighter. The guy is well-rounded. He's in great shape, very athletic. When he comes out, you know it's going to be a tough fight. It's not a walk in the park. That being said, Gerard is just a beast. He comes out with a game plan and the strength to back it up. If you think you can derail him, you're going to have second thoughts. Look at the way he took care of Anderson Silva. That was brutal. He almost broke his leg with the kicks. And you start thinking, well, who's going to win with leg kicks? That was his plan from day one. He told you that before the fight. He came in and he did it on one of the best strikers the UFC ever had. So that being said, I just think that he's going to win this fight. He's going to come out with the head in the right place, the strength in the right place, and everything that he needs to get the job done. Again, he's an underdog paying at 2.95. This is a super strong pick. Again, he's got the tools. He's got the game plan. Hopefully, you follow my picks and they win, and we can all cash in a little bit of money. Again, thank you for watching. Special thanks to our sponsors, Tata's Hot Sauce, Tata's, for that sweet heat, and Northern Tiki Metal Signs. What's your sign made of? Tune in next time, and we'll give you another review before the next card.
Yeah.